Well, tonight you guys get the update from the back patio. The weather's cooling off enough that the god blasted mosquitoes aren't out here just absolutely covering me up. It's about, I don't know, 65 degrees. It's not bad. But hey, good news. This update is coming to you from your latest and greatest CDL Class B school bus driver. And that's really the point of the little video this evening. Was just to share the good news with you guys. I did pass my road test and the pre-trip test, and I wanted to just talk about that for a little bit. I know, being, I'm going to say mildly arrogant, but my wife would say extremely arrogant, that a lot of people, myself being one of them, being an educated man, you look at the generalized truck driver, and everyone goes, well, gosh, that guy looks like a moron. How hard can it be? I'm not going to lie. The written tests, yeah, cakewalk. You read the material, you take a 20 to 30 question multiple choice test, easy money. Yes, I did fail a couple of them, but it was the ones that I didn't study for. So once I figured out what I actually needed to read it once, passed the test, no problems. The pre-trip and the road test is much more difficult, mostly because it's very self-directed, okay? So when you go to take this test, you have to show them with 100%, well, 75%, whatever it takes to get a passing grade, but you have to show them and convince them that you know how to look this bus over, or this truck, whatever it may be, every nook and cranny. You can't just tell them, front end of the bus looks good, tires look good. That is not going to get you passed. In fact, that will get you failed. They won't even let you finish the test. If you go into the test with that cavalier attitude, they'll just stop you right away. And they tell you, they do give you a set of instructions, at least mine did. Of course, I'm in Texas. I don't know, state by state, they might change it, but not really, I don't think. But they tell you at the start of the test, he reads a set of very generalized instructions, and he basically says, what we want you to do is go over the bus exactly how you would do your pre-trip. And everything that you're talking about, you have to point to it if you can't reach it, or if you can reach it, we prefer that you touch it, place your hand on it, explain to us what you're looking at and why. So, just a quick rundown example. Again, for me, for the start of the school bus, you walk up to the front of the bus and you just start talking. It sounds crazy, but you're telling the instructor every single thing you're doing. You start at the top of the bus. I'm looking at my clearance lights up top. There should be 3 of them, amber in color. All bulbs should light up appropriately. Nothing should be cracked, damaged, broken, or missing. Now I'm stepping to my outside amber warning lights and my red warning lights. Again, nothing is cracked, broken, or damaged. Everything is in place, appears securely mounted. Moving down, I'm checking the windshield. The windshield is clean and clear so as not to have any visibility obstructions. No cracks, no chips, no visible damage to the windshield. Windshield looks good. I'm looking at the windshield wipers. Here, I'm going to grab the windshield wiper and wiggle it to ensure that it can move and that it can flex from side to side as it needs to for proper function. The rubber stripping is in place so the windshield wiper makes a clean pass. I'm not kidding. And you have to memorize this stuff, but you also have to be careful not to memorize it too much to the point that you go too fast and either trip yourself up or forget to mention something. So, I mean, that little dissertation that I just did for you, that was just to get 4 feet down from the top of the bus onto the windshield, and the whole thing you have to go through like that. Now, I had practiced my pre-trip 6, 7, 8 times. You go all the way around the bus. You open every single door. You check every single emergency exit, blah, 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 blah. Now, when you go to do your test, at least in my particular location, they didn't make me pre-trip the whole bus. They pick a deck of cards, and they said pull a card from the deck and that we're going to have you do this particular area of the bus. So the card that I pulled just so happened to be the front of the bus. So you have to open the hood, you have to point to and touch every component of the engine that you can reach, that you're comfortable with. This is the alternator, this is the air conditioning condenser, this is the fan blade, these are the radiator hoses, these are the belts. You have to show them how you're going to check the belt for pliability. It can't move too far. Your hoses need to be soft and not brittle or cracked. No drips, no leaks. You have to either check the oil or at least tell them how you would check the oil. In my case, I didn't pull the dipstick, I really didn't think I need to. I told him I would pull the dipstick, wipe it off, reinsert, check the level. It should read between between fill and full, so on and so forth. So like I said, it sounds to go up there, and honestly, the way you practice your pre-trip is you go up there and you talk to the bus, because there's nobody else there. You don't want anybody else there. You feel like a fool. If there's somebody else there, you find yourself, at least with me, if there's somebody else there, I find myself asking them questions. Well, what is it? Is it this or is it that? So you're really best to go up, do it yourself, have a checklist. In my case, the school gave me a really good checklist of everything to go through on the pre-trip. There's lots of videos on YouTube. I'm not going to give you a pre-trip video here in detail. There's several that several school districts have posted, as far as school buses are concerned anyway. I'm sure there's plenty for dump trucks or tandem axles or tractor trailers and everything else too. But it feels silly, but you have to get comfortable doing that, because when you do the test, you have to do it. There's actually another gentleman that I've met that's up here applying for the school, and he's been a CDL Class A hazmat tanker, everything driver for 30 years. Went up there to pre-trip a school bus and they failed him. Didn't even let him finish the pre-trip. Didn't even let him get to the driving test. And it was because of his attitude. Yeah, this looks good. I'm checking everything in here. Yeah, this looks good. Just not going to allow it. So anyway, you have to go through your whole pre-trip like that. Luckily, I did pass mine. And the instructor I had was really good as far as kind of helping me through it. Again, they can't give you any hints, but he helped with a few things. So when I started to inspect the engine area and I was looking down inside my tires, checking my tie rods, my steering knuckles, brake drums, everything inside, or brake shoes, inside the tire, and there was a bus running beside me that idled up because it was running up its air compressors. And he finally stopped me and he said, I can't hear you. He said, I started yelling. The louder the bus got, the louder I started yelling, but still I was down inside, the wheel well. And so he said, look, man, if there's anything on this side, and that's another one of those things that they won't tell you, explain to me what that is. They say, if there's anything on this side that's not on the other side, I want you to tell me what it is. So I stepped back and I checked real quick and I reiterated the things I'd said he hadn't heard. And then we went to the other side. And so instead of fully doing every single tire or every single component of that front right tire, we just went to the left side and said I would check every single tire in this manner. So if you fail to do your air brake test, or if you do anything wrong on your air brake test, it's an automatic fail. Now, if you're going through and you think you messed something up, you can say, hold on, I think that's wrong, let me go back, and you can start over, but you have to start from the beginning and go all the way through, because there is a process to checking your air brakes. So anyway, he told me, he said, I want you to check everything inside the bus in regards to passenger safety. That's what he said. He didn't say, I want you to check your air brakes. In fact, he said, well, are you done with everything with passenger safety? And I said, well, I think so. Do you want me to check my air brakes now? And he said, well, do you think you should check your air brakes? I said, well, yes, I should. So you have to actually tell them, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I intend to do. This is why. So I went through the whole air brake test, got all that done. And he told me, he said, yes, you did pass, just barely. Which and they can't tell you what you get wrong either. They just have to tell you pass or fail. But he said you did pass. And so then we went on to the driving portion. The driving portion, you have to parallel park, you have to pull forward, back up, basic stuff. And then, of course, you go out on the open road. And as you go out on the open road, they give you cues. At this next intersection, I want you to take a left turn. And I want you to merge on the freeway, off the freeway. Here, I want you to pull over when it's safe to do so. But the actual driving portion of it was for sure easier than the pre-trip. So anyway, I got it all done. Thankfully, that was yesterday. Went and got my printed out license today. Yesterday, we were actually in too much of a hurry. We had to hustle back to the school to catch an afternoon route the instructor that was with me had to get back and actually drive a route. So we didn't have time to get my license printed off yesterday, but we got it today, got my medical done today. They told me there's one more. We're waiting on some sort of other certificate for me to actually drive the bus, but they've actually already had me start driving for the school. They put me in an SUV just to try to pick up, because they've had so many drivers quit that they're that desperate that they're spreading routes and splitting routes and doubling up routes. So yeah, they put me in an SUV and they're like, just go down this road and get as many kids as you can. So it's silly, but anyway, I just wanted to share with you guys some little details about the CDL test. I did pass, and looking forward to starting my new job.